The ability to pre-visualize a photograph is a very powerful tool in your toolbox. And with the toolbox, this time I mean your brain. Hi, it's Peter here, and let's get right into the business. What I mean when I talk about pre-visualization. Pre-visualizing means that you can see your image that you're making beforehand. There are two ways. First, you can pre-visualize an image, like here, me now sitting here and pre-visualizing an image in downtown Helsinki, for example, or somewhere else. Or you can pre-visualize an image while you are on the spot when you're making an image and you see that, okay, if this and that could happen on this particular spot, I could get this and that image. And that's what I call pre-visualization. And it's almost like planning. You could talk that it is kind of like pre-planning your shots. In order to plan a shot, you need to pre-visualize it. You need to see it in your imagination, in your mind. Pre-visualizing is also a skill that you need to practice. You need to do certain things and learn how to do that. And I will talk about those in the later part of this video, how to practice pre-visualization. I have an example, this image, for example, that I showed on this video about Topaz Photo AI and its ability to upscale. I pre-visualized the shot even though I had to crop it and I was quite far away from this and I wasn't able to crop it like this in the first place because of the traffic and all that. So I had to make it from the longer distance and then crop it later and make it black and white. I was able to see the image beforehand and that's exactly what I mean by pre-visualizing. And then how can you practice? When you're on a spot and you see something worth photographing and then something might happen and you take another shot and then you might start thinking what could make it even better, what would add to this image, and then it is just about to wait for something to happen. And that's what I do quite a bit. I go to a place and see something and then I just wait and hope that some right thing appears into the image. And sometimes it's a surprise, sometimes it is exactly the thing that I wanted, but in most cases it doesn't happen because you need that, what is so-called photographer's luck. And imagine the possibilities. Let's say, for example, this spot here, which is taken in the bright sunlight, very harsh light. It doesn't look that good. I have an image of that taken 3 years ago in the same, almost the same spot. And this is just an example that what I could have done on my trip to Strasbourg last time I did, I could have come back to this place when the sun was setting. So I would get a more soft light, the evening light, maybe even the blue hour. But it's also something that I could pre-visualize. If I see that, okay, the sun will set over there and then it will be in the right direction to make this image better. Like this old image that I took 3 years ago, just before pandemic. And that is also about the pre-visualization. Think about the light. What if you're somewhere, let's say you're traveling and you go to a place and then start pre-visualizing what this could look in a better light. And then come back later if it's possible. I know it's not always possible, but try to do that if it's possible. And it is also kind of like a part of the plan. You can plan your shots beforehand. Okay, I will go there when the sun is setting and you can, look from the Google Maps or use some kind of apps where you see where the sun will set or where the sun will rise. And kind of like that, pre-visualize the spot with a different type of lighting. That's one big thing. And because it is photography, which means drawing with light. So light is always the thing that you need to think about. And then look around and observe. Looking around a place where you're going and standing in a street corner or in the woods or wherever you're planning on making an image, you see a pretty scene or a scene that's worth photographing, then you can wait and see what happens. I've said this many times because this is the biggest essence of pre-visualization. When you are on the spot and you see what's going on, and then you could think, okay, if someone walked into that spot exactly with those type of clothing, I can get a perfect shot that fits the whole story or fits the style or whatever that is. But like I said, it doesn't always happen. If you don't ever pre-visualize the thing, you won't see it when it happens. And it sometimes does, and you will elevate your images. So be patient. And that's one thing about photography, that you need to be patient. I've never understood people that just, take their phones and then they go like this, taking photos, and then they don't even see the place and they don't look at the photographs. If they just calm down a little bit, take a little few shots, experience the surroundings, you start seeing things. So pace yourself down and think about the image that could be made in this particular spot or the spot that you are on. And then looking online, which is like Google Street View, for example. That's what I use sometimes. I see a place that looks interesting on the map, or I know the place. I might wander around in Street View for a little while and just say, okay, that's a good spot to make an image, and I could pre-visualize that in different conditions, different weather conditions, different type of cars, different type of people walking, and different times of day. That is something that helps a lot when you're making images. That can be done in your hometown, in the local areas where you live, or when you're traveling. It helps so much when you kind of like have an idea what's there to photograph. That will consider to be planning in a way, but to pre-visualize first, then it helps make the plans. And then one important thing is knowing the possibilities of image editing. And when you see a place and you take the photograph, you should be able to pre-visualize the image the way you want to present it. What the white balance will be. Will I remove some stuff here? Will I crop it a little bit? Do I need to upscale? And all those ideas and things are good to have in your mind so that you know, okay, I can't crop this image and the spot the way I want, and maybe I'll just crop it a little bit later. Or like the example that I had in the beginning of this video where I couldn't be close enough, then I could do that because of pre-visualization. And the same goes with you. Of course you can do that. And I think it's one of the most important skills in photography. But will this ruin the surprise that there's always when you're traveling? Of course it's a one way of doing that. Do not think ahead that much or plan your shots. Just go with the flow and go with your gut feeling that where you should be photographing. But that's also in a way pre-visualizing. You have some kind of an images, some kind of a style in your head, and you go with that. I think at least I do. I go to a place and then I start visualizing things that might happen and visualizing the type of style that fits that particular images that I'm making on that particular trip or that particular place. It's the vibes that you get from the things and feelings. If it's a slow, empty streets or really bustling city or really calm nature or whatever, you kind of feel the style in a way. It's really hard to say, but it will evolve, and most of you probably already have this. But those who don't, start thinking about ahead and pre-visualizing your images. You will be a lot better. But don't forget the random stuff that might happen and be ready to photograph that without pre-visualization. Just fire away sometimes. So be alert all the time. That's what I'm trying to say. And here is the video that I made about the image that I've been talking about on this one. It was the image that I took in Strasbourg, which kind of is a good example of pre-visualization. But hey, thanks for watching and bye for now.